everyone, welcome once again to Scorpion Cigar Reviews. Today I'm going to be doing yet another Tequila Trilogy, and I will be pairing my tequilas with Cohiba Blue. This is, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I did a review of the Cohiba Blue. If you want to see that, just go to Scorpion Cigar Reviews and look for my review of the Cohiba Blue. I will say this is a milder version of the core line Cohiba Red Dot, and quite a bit more mild than the Cohiba Nicaragua. I always have more than one lighter on hand. I forgot to fill my tea kettle lighter. So I'll use my trusty Cigar. Now these three tequilas that I'm reviewing today, two of which I've been enjoying for several weeks, one of which I just bought yesterday and really enjoyed it. The two that I've just about polished off. First, the Espolòn. This is a Reposado. Next is the Cabo Wabo. Now this one is the Blanco or Silver, or however you want to, they different names. I think this was the Blanco. Yeah, the blue label. Surprisingly, it doesn't say. Huh. Usually when you buy a bottle of tequila, whether it's a Silver or Blanco, or it's a Reposado. No, I'm sorry, this is a Reposado. It says that. Anyway, the point I was getting to is usually they'll say on the main label, and I'm a complete idiot. I'm an idiot because it does say it right there. I looked at it and looked at it and looked at it. So all three are the Reposados. All three are available in either the Silver or Blanco, the Reposado, or the Añejo. However, at my local ABC, the Milagro Select Barrel was only available in Silver or Blanco. I think they refer to it as Silver on the Milagro. And they had the Reposado, but they did not have the Añejo. And that's fine. I really enjoy the Reposado as it's kind of an in-between a Silver and an Añejo. It's not aged for as long. Typically it's aged for anywhere from 3 months to a year in oak barrels, whereas a Silver typically is not aged, but could be aged for up to as much as 3 months, and an Añejo would be a year to 3 years, and an extra Añejo would be 4 years on up, typically 4 years, 6 years, maybe as much as 8 years. I'm not going to get into all the detail because that's not what I'm reviewing today. So, give my cigar a little touch up, make sure I'm good and lit before I get half lit. Ah. As I mentioned, I have been enjoying the Cabo Wabo and the Espolòn for several weeks. As you can see by the levels in the bottles, not much there, they're about equal. And I picked up the Milagro Select Barrel yesterday and shared it with a friend. Had a few drams each, and you see the fill level on that, so we did a pretty good job of working that down. Let's get started with the pour. Cabo Wabo. dram. Thought I brought up water to drink. Evidently not. I'll go get it later. Yes, Milan. Agro. Now, I like the short squat bottles because they fit nicely in my liquor cabinet. And the much taller Agro, I don't believe is going to fit in my liquor cabinet. Haven't tried yet. I was just kind of eyeballing it. Didn't look like it would fit, but we'll see what happens. This is a very nice bottle. It has a blue agave handcrafted within the bottle. And the other thing I like to note is typically liquor bottles are pretty heavy duty, and this bottle is much thinner. The thickness of the glass is just very thin, so it's going to be a little more fragile. Be careful banging it around, especially if you like to keep interesting looking bottles. And the other neat thing about this is the agave was actually blown in from the bottom. Stick my finger way up in there. So you could put like a little light up in there, let it shine through. I haven't done it yet. Get a flashlight. Alright, now, I haven't done this yet, but I think this is going to be really neat. Yeah, okay, you're not going to get the full effect until you're in the dark, but yeah, if you had a night light, you could stick in there. I think that'd be pretty interesting. Used as a display, whether it's got liquid in it or not. However, I would be careful doing it while it's full of tequila, only because the light will put off some heat. You really don't want to heat your liquor. Anytime you heat liquor, you put it through changes, and it's already at its optimal, so you really wouldn't want to change that. And if you live in really hot climates, or if the room, for example, the Scorpion Cigar Lounge, this time of year in the summer, is hot. It's hot up here. It's not insulated. I don't have air conditioning up here. However, I do have heat for the winter. So during the warmer months, I keep all my liquor in a little, it's actually a wine refrigerator, because I'm not trying to actually get my liquor cold like you want a cold beer. I just want to keep it from getting overheated up here. So typically 50 degrees is about as cold as that refrigerator will get. So somewhere between 50 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit is where everything stays. And depending on where you have it set, offhand, I think I have it set at the coldest setting, and it's not really all that cold. It keeps the bottles cool to the touch, and these have been sitting out for the last 10 or 15 minutes. But and then the Milagro was downstairs because, as I mentioned, it doesn't fit in the cooler, and I don't think it's going to fit in my liquor cabinet either. So it's in my bedroom with the air conditioning going at 67 degrees. So everything's pretty equal in temperature at the moment. Other thing I'd like to mention about the Milagro, this comes in different packages. The Milagro Select Barrel is a little more higher end than the core line Milagro, which is also available in silver, reposado, and añejo. However, these bottles, they say, are actually handcrafted, and the bottles themselves are numbered for the bottle, not just for its contents. So this particular bottle is 352, and the contents number is 4250BR. I don't know what that means. Whatever batch number or barrel number or whatever. But it's kind of neat because the bottle itself has some provenance. I believe all three are at 40%. Yeah, 40%. Yeah, everything's at 40% alcohol by volume, so everything's equal. As you can see, the Milagro Reposado is a little bit darker in color. and the Espolon, a little bit lighter, and then the Cabo Wabo is even lighter still. I'm not sure, you know, what the reasoning is behind that, other than perhaps the Reposado and the Milagro may have been aged for longer than the Espolon or the Cabo Wabo. You know, that I don't have that particular information. The other nice thing is the back of the box of the Milagro gives you a little history, and it tells you the flavor profiles for the silver, the reposado, and the añejo. And then on the other side of the box, this goes in a little more detail about how they roast in they roast the agave in the ovens for 36 hours and blah blah blah. You know, they just tell you a little bit about the company. Kind of neat, little provenance there. So, without any further ado, let's get started with this tasting. First, the Cabo Wabo Reposado. Cabo Wabo, there it is. Nice citrusy smell, fresh. Now, something interesting with any spirit, and I've noticed particularly with the tequila, you can change your nosing by varying your distance to the glass, and the scent will change. The closer you get, you pick up different flavor profiles. It's very clean further away, almost like a blast of cold water. As you move in, you start to pick up some of the sweetness. Some of the alcohol starts to kick in. Yeah, and then that alcohol starts to burn the nose. Somewhere within that range, you just keep adjusting, and eventually you find the sweet spot where you'll pick up the vegetal character of the agave right there. Yeah, so it's a little bit sweet. It's got the nice agave sweetness. Got a good bite of the alcohol. Now, all three of these are sipping tequilas. Now, you could use them as mixers and margaritas or some other fancy drink or whatever. Let my cigar sit too long, it went out. This could end up being a very lengthy review. I'm sorry. Back to my old habits. I tend to rattle on and on and on and on and on. You know, I'll edit some of this out just to shorten it, but you know, it doesn't change the fact that I'm an idiot, a babbling idiot at that. But that's what you guys love about me, right? Right. Now, all three of these are available, should be available anywhere. I live in Virginia, so I'm pretty limited on what I can get, and it's typically rather expensive, being government-run ABC stores. Alcoholic Beverage Commission, for those of you that are not in the know. In fact, one of the ABCs, the one I normally go to, stopped carrying this particular presentation of the Milagro, and they now only have the standard non-decorative bottles that are more like a slender wine bottle, like a Riesling bottle or something. And they're colored, they're translucent, but they come in different colors based on silver, reposado, and añejo. but I did find that one of the other ABCs that I don't normally go to had this, so I was very pleased. They had a few bottles, so I picked one up. Price point. The Cabo Wabo was just under $40. I don't remember the exact amount. It was just under $40. The Espolon was a little bit more money, but once again, right around $40. The Milagro was quite a bit more money. It was mid-50s on sale. It was regularly 60, and I got it for like 55 or something like that. Now, as far as my tastings and nosings go, I use the Don Julio Reposado as my standard. That may be setting the bar pretty high because Don Julio is probably just about the best tequila you can buy. So, hey, why not base all other tequilas on the best that there is? It's readily available, although it went up quite a bit. I bought it last year for just over $50, and this year it's just over $60, so it went up $10 in about a year. But that's, like I said, that's probably the best tequila you can buy. I'm getting a lot of the alcohol flavor from the Cabo Wabo. A little bit of sweetness, creamy mouthfeel, some spice. It's very good. It's very good. Goes nicely with the Cohiba Blue. Now, for the Espolon Reposado. Again, not getting a whole lot on the nose, and it should be just wafting with scents because it's pretty warm up in the attic. Got the windows open, but it's over 80 degrees up here. It's probably pushing 90. I can feel the heat, but I'm not uncomfortable. See if I can find the sweet spot on the nose. Right there. Perfect balance between a little bit of the alcohol bite on the nose, a little bit of the sweetness, and a little bit of the citrus and the agave nuances that come through on the nose. Yeah, right there. Smells creamy. Right away, the Arrival is much sweeter on the Espolon than on the Cabo Wabo. I'm getting a lot more vanilla influence from the oak when mixed with the spices, kind of cinnamony. There's definitely a cinnamony character there. I start to pick up what I consider, I guess, I describe it as a buttercream frosting, like on a cake. Now, compared to the Don Julio, it's very subdued, not nearly as sweet, rich and thick in the agave or any of the nuances that come through, but it's there, and I wasn't getting it with Cabo Wabo. A little taste. Yeah, it gives the impression of being stronger in alcohol than it really is. This is only 40% alcohol by volume, all three of these. But that alcohol, it's almost misrepresented. It seems stronger than it really is. So far, both the Cabo Wabo and the Espolòn are pairing nicely with the Cohiba Blue. Nothing is overpowering the other. Nothing's washing anything out. Now, for the Milagro Barrel Select Reposado. Oh, yeah. The sweet spot on the nose has a much wider range. It's easier to find. Starts sooner and it goes deeper in. I can smell flowers almost. Not any particular flower, but it's a very floral scent, like walking through a nice flower garden, but very subdued. It's not like you're, you know, snorting on a rose, but there's definitely a very floral note. Soft, subtle, but it's definitely there. Sweetness. Starting to get the vanilla, the buttercream frosting. Cinnamon's just starting to come in. Oh, there it is. Some botanicals. Nice almost like what do you call those scent sticks that you incense. There's a spiciness to those. Man, I've got some kind of bug trying to get in my tequila. Get the hell out of here. Move in, get more of that buttercream frosting, starts to move forefront. The spices and the botanicals and the incense sticks. The floral note, it's all there. It's all there in varying degrees. The further in you get, the stronger it gets. There's that vegetal character. A little bit of citrus. A little minty, not. I've seen some reviews where the reviewer will talk about the mint that they're getting from all these tequilas, and for me, it's not so much a taste or a scent, but it's the feel. I get like when you eat a mint, not necessarily the taste of it, but that cool mouth feel afterwards. And that can translate also into your sinuses, where it leaves a kind of cool feeling. The Milagro is definitely more complex than the Espolòn and the Cabo Wabo, and I'm still just nosing it. The scents go deeper, thicker, richer, more pronounced. There's more of them. I mean, I could probably nose this thing for an hour and pick up, 30 or 40 different things in varying degrees. Much like a good Scotch or bourbon that's very complex. You get a lot of scents and flavors from it. I'm getting that with the Milagro Barrel Select. Alright. Enough nosing around, let's taste it. Pretty smooth. I'm getting that sweetness, the vanilla, that buttercream frosting and cinnamon, as it dissipates, you just start breathing in through your mouth. Your mouth is left very cool feeling, like from a mint, but I don't taste mint. If I really, really think about it, the power of suggestion, I can trick my mind into thinking I'm actually tasting mint, but I don't really think it's there. It's just the after effect, the feel of the mint. I'm really digging the spices on this, the various incense type spices. Floral, some jasmine, some, what's the purple one? I can't think of it. I got the darn things grown out front. Help me out here, Scorpion fans. Middle of the night when I'm sleeping, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'll sit straight up and I'll say, it's, yeah, because I'm an idiot. The Milagro brings in everything that the Espolon and the Cabo Wabo did, but ups it 10 times. Everything's fuller, richer, thicker, more defined, more pronounced. A long, long finish of that buttercream frosting. Still not to the same degree as as the Don Julio Reposado, but it's definitely there, and it's more pronounced than in either of the Espolon or the Cabo Wabo. So, we add a little drop of water. Just kind of eyeball it. And I can do that only because I typically use the cap of the water as my measuring device, and I've done that so many times with my, a little bit too much, Scotch and bourbon, that I can tell when I'm getting the right amount just by watching it pour it. Now granted, it's a little harder to do it because sometimes you have an oops, that's too much, or you stop too short, so you add a little bit and then it's too much. But yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it is what it is, folks. A little swirl, let it sit for just a minute, enjoy my cigar. Take a little break here and I'll come back in a little bit with some nosing and tasting notes with the water addition to these 3 wonderful tequilas. See you in a bit. And I'll relight my cigar because it went out again. Alright, so I've added a few drops of water to each sample. Let it sit for 10 minutes or so. Smoke my cigar a little bit. Cabo Wabo. It's changed the nosing profile in a way that it seems to have made it hotter. It's like it's brought the alcohol out more so than the other flavors. However, the tasting, it's toned down the taste of the alcohol. It's really smoothed it out, much creamier. I'm instantly getting that buttercream frosting, as I describe it, vanilla, cinnamon from the oak. Just really pleasant. It's almost like a dessert that's on a diet. It's my palate. Yeah, that definitely did benefit from a little bit of water. I may have put a little bit too much in. The Espolon, much the same. While it didn't enhance the alcohol note on the nose, it's really subdued everything else. I'm not getting a whole lot from it. Lingering way in the back, I can kind of smell that vanilla, a little bit of the cinnamon, that kind of buttercream frosting characteristic. The tasting, the alcohol is much more forward than it was on the Cabo Wabo with the addition of water. More well-rounded, very smooth, more cinnamony than the buttercream frosting. A little bit of sweetness in there. Very good, very good. It definitely changed the flavor profile and brought forth more of the subtle qualities that were there without the water, as it toned down the alcohol a little bit. But it toned, yeah, it just, it didn't tone down the alcohol to the same degree that it did with Cabo Wabo. It's definitely different. It reacted much differently to the water than the Cabo Wabo did. Very good. I believe that once again, a few drops of water have enhanced the Espolon as it enhanced the Cabo Wabo, just in varying degrees. Do another palate rinse. The Milagro Select Barrel Reserve with the addition of water. Everything is still much more dominant than it was on the Espolon and the Cabo Wabo. I can definitely smell that sweet, creamy vanilla buttercream frosting, but it's lighter. It's not as thick. Once again, it's almost like a dessert on a diet. The citrus. It's still a very much more complex tequila than the Espolon and the Cabo Wabo. Went down wrong, excuse me. Let me give you guys a little tip. Do not inhale your tequila. It's not supposed to go into your lungs. Your lungs do not like tequila. What I was going to say before I choked on my tequila is that buttercream frosting was instantly apparent with the addition of water and on the first tasting. Just when you think, oh, there's the alcohol, almost instantly the creaminess took over. Let it sit in your mouth and kind of chew it. Bring some air in without getting the tequila into your lungs. Yeah, very good. That buttercream frosting note leaves a very creamy mouthfeel. Very slick, oily, buttery. If you've ever had buttercream frosting on a cake, you just take a little bit of frosting, you eat it, and you kind of feel around your mouth. It's very creamy and smooth. That taste just lingers and lingers and lingers. Completely coats the palate, everything in your mouth. So what about scoring? Well, as I had mentioned in my first Tequila Trilogy review, I don't really have a scoring system set up for tequilas or bourbons or that kind of thing. But if I translate my cigar scoring sheet into, say, a tequila score, and if I use the Don Julio Reposado as my baseline, and if I say that's a score of 100 out of 100, best tequila I've ever had, which to date it is. And then I base other tequila tastings on that 100-point score from the Don Julio. The Milagro comes the closest to that. Now it's not going to get a score of 100 because it's not the equal to the Don Julio. But of the three, I think this is the best. And I would score this probably 95, 94, somewhere in there. The Espolon, I would score 91, maybe 92. The Cabo Wabo, 90 to 91. So the Espolon and the Cabo Wabo are very similar. Scoring, nosing, tasting. They're very good, low 90s. So to differentiate, because they're not totally equal, I think maybe the Espolon is just subtly better than the Cabo Wabo, very subtly. For me, that doesn't mean that for you, you would say, oh, how could you possibly give the Espolon a higher score than the Cabo Wabo? Or how could you give the Milagro a higher score than the Cabo Wabo? The Cabo Wabo is the best tequila I've ever had. Well, that's for you and your palate. For me and my palate, the flavors that I look for, to me, the quintessential tequila is the Don Julio Reposado. And for me, I picked out a lot of the buttercream frosting, both on the nosing and on the taste. The arrival, the development, the finish, full of buttercream frosting, vanilla, sweet cream, cinnamon. It was fantastic. The Milagro of these three comes the closest to that. I'm going to stick to my guns. 95, 91, 90. So I thank you for once again watching Scorpion Cigar Reviews. What? You didn't review your cigar? You didn't say anything about that stupid Cohiba Blue. That's right, but I've already reviewed the Cohiba Blue. If you want to know my impressions of the Cohiba Blue, you have to go see that review. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. I'm an idiot. It went out again. As promised, I knew I'd remember what that purple plant was that I couldn't think the name of. Lavender. Lavender is the other thing that I'm getting in the Milagro Select Barrel Reserve. Lavender.